Are you ready to learn? Because my super experienced guests are ready to share some really valuable information. Make sure and listen all the way to the end to get help and support. So let's start with the best audio experience.
Hello guys, welcome to our show. Today we discuss about very interesting topic, bootstrapping and scaling an agency. So good people, welcome. By the way, I don't want to discriminate bad people. Welcome to our show as well. Anyone who want to learn more about agency, welcome. So today I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Duane Brown. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's interesting topic even for me because I have an agency. Of course, I have a goal to scale more. Many terrible things happened in 2022 because of this war in Ukraine with Russia. Yeah, so terrible. But it doesn't matter. We didn't stop. That was hard time. But right now we found another track and going ahead. That's why I'm so excited to learn more about that. Before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to share with us about this topic.
Sure. So I've been doing this for 17 years, running advertising online. I used to live in the UK. I've lived in both sides of Canada. I'm from Canada. I've lived a little bit down in Australia, and I've worked for, big agencies like, Omnicore and Omnicom and WWP, down to, local agencies and small agencies and medium agencies, both in Canada and the UK. Worked for big brands like ASOS and Jack Wills, and we've done stuff for Walmart and WooCommerce as an agency. And so I think I've got that unique position where I've worked, both client side and in-house. I've worked for, tech companies, for nonprofits. So I often joke I pretty much have done it all in my career. I think the only thing I haven't done is maybe advertise like an airline or something like that, or sold alcohol online. But then last year we got an alcohol brand, so I sold alcohol online. And I think that's kind of like what makes me really good at the job is, you've got lots of different knowledge and lots of different experience within that knowledge, and allows you to understand problems and solve problems. And, I often tell people, and I told someone this today, I didn't start out trying to build an agency. That wasn't my goal. I really just kind of quit my job because I was unhappy and decided to just freelance because, why not?
I agree with that. If you are unhappy with your job, the best way, what you can do to leave it, and you will never regret because, we spend almost half of our time in our jobs. It's a lot. And if you are unhappy, what kind of life is this? It's better to leave it. And I remember many years ago, I started a business, one project, because of chasing money. I didn't have any other goals, just to earn money, but I failed. I wasted resources for 3 years because of having the wrong goals. When I quit, I got happiness because I can work hard in my loving job. So I'm excited about that, to have an agency because I love it. I love to create content. I love to scale. I love to cooperate with people, with brands. Can you tell where to start? For example, if someone has I don't know, like a hating job, and according to a few studies, around 50 to 70% of people are unhappy with their jobs. Some of them hate these jobs. So can you tell how to make this first step to go ahead to quit? Because we need to pay bills, we need to feed our families, we have kids, and it's hard decision because it takes time to get a new revenue, to get the first results. So any insights about that?
Yeah, I mean, people are probably not going to like to hear what I have to say about that part, but I think what a lot of people need to do is you need to have sort of two things. You need to, one, sort of have a nest egg, so like money put aside for an emergency. i.e., it doesn't work out. Yes, I think you should try to do a job that you enjoy. But the other thing is you also need to have a skill that people want to buy, right? If I hate my job, but I don't have anything I can sell to people and people don't want to pay me for, well, quitting my job is probably not a good idea because then I don't have any way to make any money. So having sort of money in the bank already you can fall back on, because, building a business, even if it's just a business of one and you just work for yourself, it takes time and it really happens overnight. And then two, you've got to actually have a skill that people want to buy at the end of the day. Now, whether you want to actually sell that skill and you like it enough that you do it for some sort of job or to make money is another question, but you do need to have a job that people and a skill that people want to buy at the end of the day. And then beyond that, it's really just figuring out, what you want to sell within that skill, because maybe you have multiple skills, and how you're going to position that skill and getting clients, all the sort of the business stuff. But really, it starts with like having money in the bank, and having a skill. And then what I did personally is I didn't like quit my job without any clients. I already had, I think, 2 clients at that time. And I've always done like moonlighting, freelancing at nighttime when I had a day job, whether it was in Australia or whether it was here in Canada. And so I think having that cushion where I could quit my job, and well, I've already got 1 or 2 clients, so I'm just going to work on those and then work on finding other clients. That way I can like bring in more money. So that's kind of like the tips, is like have a skill people want to buy, have money in the bank, and then ideally you're already freelancing at nighttime. You've got 1 or 2 clients so that you can go from like hating your job to at least starting with something. Because starting from scratch is really, really hard, and it takes way longer than people think.
Yeah, I love your approach. Yeah, that means, for example, if you work 8 hours in a day in some jobs, so you have extra time. Instead of watching TV, you can find clients to cooperate with them to get the first income, and only then quit your job. So if you're not sure about the future, so find clients in the extra time, because people are watching 6 hours a day TV. It's a lot. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to criticize anyone. It's their time. It's their hobby. If they're happy with that, that's okay. But if you wanna be succeed, if you wanna go ahead, you need to decrease the amount of time of watching TV and doing something else. For example, to find a job. Okay, can you tell how you found your first clients? What methods you used? For example, I remember when I started my agency many years ago. I don't remember exactly, but the main reason was I had an online shop and I spent some time to promote this shop. When I got first results, a few of my friends came to me and they asked, please give me the same results. Please bring me this traffic. I wanna sales. Then I got it that I have no time, to help anyone. So I decided to open an agency, and this agency has helped my business and grew to a separate union. And so we got results. Tell your ways how you formed the first clients. I mean, like you formed 2 clients. Any insights?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I've been freelancing since my 20s. So, back then, a lot of what I did was just like networking. I'm from Toronto, where I'm based again right now. So back then, it's just networking with other agencies, like the big agencies owned by the big holding companies, people who worked at independent agencies. So I spent a lot of my time just networking, meeting people in, the advertising, marketing, and, PPC paid ads community. And oftentimes people would say, oh, there's this freelance person, needs someone, like refer them to Duane, because I met Duane 2 months ago. I think that's often hard for people. They don't realize that like you can't just like sit at home and be at your computer to get clients. You got to go out and meet people, because most businesses grow based on referrals and meeting people. So that really helped really early on in my 20s. And then when I was in my 30s and I was working the job that I quit that I hated, I got those clients. One, because an old co-founder I'd worked for when I lived in the UK, they were starting their second business, and they just emailed me and see if I wanted to take on some freelance work, because they didn't really have enough money to hire someone full time, and they knew I was really good because I was the head of marketing at the last company, and we grew it till we could sell the company. So they're like, well, check him, $2,000-3,000 a month, and he'll manage our Google ads, for example. And then other clients just came through referrals I'd met, when I was in Australia or other places. So really, if you want to get clients in the long run, you got to start today just networking, meeting people in your industry. Especially meeting people in person is really valuable. Because even if you're only meeting people in your city, odds are they know other people in other cities as well who need help, and they will refer people to you if you're, somewhat reasonably smart and somewhat reasonably intelligent. So really a lot of networking. I mean, today we get a lot of clients through like referrals, client referrals. We do some stuff obviously on the internet. We do things like this. But starting out early out is just networking. and that's the best way to get clients.
Let's talk about unique selling proposition. For example, you found two clients, the first clients. Even if you have first clients, you need to show something more than your competitors have. And it's hard in the beginning, because when you have big agencies, a lot of freelancers who have good reviews, positive reviews, portfolio. But when you have no portfolio, when you have no experience, you need to show something more. Tell your ways, how you convince two clients to cooperate with you, and any insights for anybody else who want to start from scratch, what to do to find your first clients.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely do need experience. I always recommend people do one of two things. Either go work for like an advertising agency and get experience that way, because you can use your day job experience to give it to people to hire you. The other option, depending on what you're doing, if it's in marketing, go work for a nonprofit, like offer them free services. I don't love working for free, and I've never suggest it, but most nonprofits that are like local, at a state, province level, probably use help from like a marketing, graphic design, analytics perspective. You chuck them a couple hours a month and you build your portfolio that way. You do 1 or 2 nonprofits, especially if you're starting out and you're not going to focus on any one industry. Having a couple nonprofits you've done some work for who can be reference for you is a good way to build your portfolio. I wouldn't generally work for free for like for-profit businesses, because people in for-profit businesses who want free work are never going to value what you do. But when it comes to a nonprofit, especially if it's a nonprofit you love, so they like help kids or they help animals or they help women or whatever the nonprofit does, means you get to like put your skills to an industry that you have an interest in, you want to support, and 2, you get the experience you eventually need to help build your portfolio. Because when it comes to like PPC or Google ads or Facebook ads, I can guarantee you there are hundreds of nonprofits around the world who could easily use a couple hours a month of free help, and you get the experience that you need, and you get to help a nonprofit. And then from there, you can just use that to build a portfolio. But other than that, I would say get a job at an agency, 1-2 years, and hopefully if it's good enough agency, you'll get enough experience that you can parlay that experience while you're still there to get your first couple freelance clients at nighttime. And then eventually you can get yourself set up to leave that job if you wanted to and do the whole freelancing thing, because not everybody wants to run a business. I think that's one thing people don't realize. Not everybody wants to work from the sales, not everybody wants to run a business, and freelance at nighttime gets you see, do I want to actually do this as a day job? Because there's more than just running ads, right? There's also the whole business side of running a business. You got to file taxes, you got to like invoice people, you have to chase invoices, you got to, if you have employees, you've got to like run a company and manage people. And so understanding if you actually want to do the things outside of your core job that it takes to run a business is actually a good thing to learn as well when you're freelancing at night and you've got your day job.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, great. I love it. Duane, let me share how I did with first client, because the first I cooperated with my friends who saw my results. Then I decided to scale, to grow, to go ahead, and I found that it's hard to compete with big projects. That's why I decided to spend more time with free consultancy before starting the project. For example, most salespeople usually spend like 15 minutes, to provide mini audit. I spent like a few hours, to tell them what to do, completely for free. And my first payment was outside of my friends, like $200. It was great. I got it. Wow, good money. Why not? My second business brought a lot more, but that was good money just to find clients outside of my friends and any other places. So yeah, it's my approach. Just find your competitors' weaknesses and use your strong side. For example, if you can spend more time with your clients before selling products, why not? You can do it. If you can provide insights to create content plan, to find keywords, to anything, just do it to show you that you care. Then after getting contract, you can build your portfolio. Yeah, why not? Just consider your strong side. Okay, we have the question about social media. What do you think, how it's important to grow on social media for agency?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I think like let's look at Twitter as an example. I think it's actually a great question. I think if you look at Twitter as an example, every Facebook bro, 20 something, wants to be on Twitter and have hundreds of thousands of followers. But when you actually look at the data, more times than not, the more followers somebody actually gets, the less engagement their tweets actually get because they expand beyond their core demographic. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't necessarily be on Twitter or LinkedIn or Reddit or wherever you can be. I think, though, that most agencies try to be like everywhere, or founders try to be like on every platform. I think it's far better to maybe pick your platform of choice. It could be Twitter, it could be LinkedIn, it could be Reddit, it could be TikTok, whatever it is, and then create content specifically for that platform. And then whatever your content topic is, PPC for nonprofits, PPC for other agencies, because you white label Percential. I got a friend who does, only thing they talk about is Google Ads scripts. So that's all they've ever talked about the last 3 years. When you think about Google Ads scripts, you think about my friend. So I think pick what your topic is, pick your one channel, and then double down on that one channel. Our general rule with the agency is if we're going to pick up a new marketing channel or a new, distribution channel for our content, we have to be on that channel for at least a year. We're not going to judge our success in under a year because going to the gym, when you start Jan 1st at the gym because you've got that weight loss goal, you're not going to have abs by the end of January, right? So you want to be in there for the long haul. And if you're in there for a year, you can look back at a year and say, okay, well, this did work out, but maybe not as well as we thought. Okay, this didn't work out, but we gave it our best shot. We tried lots of things. Most people quit things way too early because they didn't see success right away. But success is not an overnight thing. We've been running the agency for 6 years. I started year 7 on Jan 1st this year. And when we're done this year, we'll be done 7 years. But I wouldn't get to where I am today. So I quit everything after 2 or 3 months because I didn't see the success right away. And so I don't think it's bad to be on social media, but you need to pick what you're going to talk about and be laser focused. And you need to pick what channel you're going to be on and be in it to win it. Most people give up way too early because they don't see traction. I think the good research behind this is for YouTube. I think someone said someone takes off on YouTube only after they've posted 100 videos or something like that. And then once they get to 1,000 videos, it's when velocity happens and they get hundreds of thousands of followers really quickly. And so if you think about that, most people probably quit YouTube after a dozen videos or maybe 20 videos. Nobody ever goes to 100 videos, but that's what it takes to stand out from the crowd because most people are down here. You want to be up here. But to be up here, you've got to post 100 videos or be in something for a year. You can't be a scrub and be down here. So if you're not in it to win it and be in it for the long haul, don't do it. You're going to waste your time.
It's interesting, these guys didn't know about YouTube because they have no internet. I hope the North Korea will have internet, YouTube, and all other social media that we have today. Duane, you remind me my mistakes. In 2020, when I decided to grow my social media profiles, my approach was wrong because I tried to post content on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I failed. I failed to get any meaningful results. Then I quit and decided to pay attention only on LinkedIn because I found that on this social media you can win high engagement. That it's hard on Facebook, that it's hard on many other platforms. Probably on TikTok you can as well, but it's far away from my strong side. I love writing more than filming. That's why I spent some time on LinkedIn to grow my audience. And my best results were 500 followers a day, 10,000 views in a day. Good approach, to grow, to go ahead. But when you trying to cover all social media with limited resources, it's really hard. And even if you repurpose content, you need to engage with the audience. It's not only to create content. You need to engage, to invite your audience to your content, because the best content is dying on social media for a few hours because nobody knows that you have this content. And many people share about Gary Vee. He has a team. He started on Twitter. He posted tweets 7 years. Then he grew to other social media. So he focused, but when he had a team, he decided to grow everywhere. And The team can help him. If you have two hands, as I have, find one social media, grow there, get results. Then you can cover other social media with extended resources. When you earn money in the first social media, you can use other with a team. So yeah, I agree with that. And you mentioned about posting 100 videos. It's interesting that I think it's a good approach. When you post a lot, and with the main goal to get experience, to get confidence, to film. Because PewDiePie posted 100 videos to get 285 subscribers. Today he has 110 million. Mr. Beast posted content an year and a half to get 1,000 subscribers. Today everyone knows about Mr. Beast. But they didn't give up. They used they got experience, confidence to create video content. Then when the time was the best, when they could get results much better, they increased and grew their audience. I love it. Okay, Duane, can you tell about your unique selling proposition? For example, if someone wanna find a responsible agency, can you tell why you are better than other agencies? We have thousands, if not millions, agencies today. So your strong side.
I think there are hundreds of thousands, probably millions of agencies and even freelancers around the world, headed into potentially a deeper recession, or the current recession we're already in means that people will consider hiring freelancers as much as agencies. I was actually talking about this the other day on Reddit. I don't think there's a lot that necessarily maybe separates us from other agencies if you just look at it from the perspective of like, we run advertising, right? Everybody runs advertising. But I think what separates us apart from lots of other agencies is how we approach what we do, or how we position ourselves as an agency. So there's a couple things we do. I mean, we run ads for clients on Google, Facebook, TikTok, Microsoft, Amazon ads. So we do all the standard major advertising platforms. But the two things that I really realized early on was, one, when it comes to putting out content, we only really put out content about like Google ads, Shopify, e-commerce, shopping ads. So really focused our content around like what we're really amazing at. What can we be the best in the world at? So when people think about Duane and the agency, the best in the world, they think about like Google shopping ads, e-commerce, Shopify. Our agency aren't just Shopify partners, we're Shopify experts, which means Shopify's picked us to be the best when it comes to marketing and leveraging the Shopify platform to grow businesses via marketing, which helps us really stand out. And then beyond that, we really tell clients, you're actually hiring us to do two jobs, right? Most agencies think that you're hiring them to do one job, which is to run your ad account. But anyone who's done this long enough knows that you're actually being hired to do two jobs. Job one is what most agencies sell, which is like, hire us and we'll run your Facebook, your TikTok, your Google, your Amazon, whatever it is. But you could do everything right and still fail if the client's website isn't the best it can possibly be. And so the other thing that clients are actually hiring us for is strategy and helping them build a better business, what I commonly call the post-click experience. And so if we can make recommendations to help our clients build a stronger business and build a better business that has a stronger post-click website experience, they will make more sales, make more money, convert people faster, which means what we're doing down here with advertising becomes a lot easier. And so we position ourselves as not just an agency that does strategy, we position ourselves as a strategy agency that does PPC. So that puts us more in the box of like the Deloittes and the WPPCs and all those places like that, because those people sell strategy, right? But they couldn't execute if their life depended on it. We look at it as like, we're really amazing at strategy, but we can also execute, which is different than most agencies are like, hire us and we'll execute stuff. But those agencies don't spend enough time thinking about what they're going to do. They don't think about the strategy behind what they're going to do. Because if you've got a to-do list that's 8, 12 items long, you pick the wrong thing on the to-do list and you won't get anywhere. But if you pick the right thing, you're strategic about what you do on that to-do list, you'll get somewhere a lot faster. And so how we position ourselves from a strategic agency that executes is really helping separate us apart. Plus, my experience, our team's experience as a whole is pretty unique and pretty diverse. And so we layer that on top of like being strategic, being smart. We tell clients in pitch meetings, like when other agencies have said things and it's wrong, we just say, yeah, the agency's lying. Here's why they're lying. Like an agency said the other day that they're going to spy on competitors with SEM Rush. Well, that's a lie. SEM Rush is crap at spying on competitors. The tool doesn't work. No one should use that data. It's awful data. And we told the client. And if the agency is going to spend time on that, what else are they going to waste time on that isn't actually adding value to the business, which is what you hire them to do to make you more money? And so we're just really honest. Clients will often say, you were just so relaxed on that pitch meeting. And I was like, I just had to hire you. I'm like, yeah, I mean, hire us, great. Don't hire us, that's okay. If you don't hire us, someone else will. I don't have time to like sit here and try to convince you to hire us. You either know who we are or you don't at this point. If you don't know who we are, you should have done your research before you hired someone. So it's either hire us or don't. I mean, I don't really care either way, to be honest, because at the end of the day, if you don't sign, someone else will, and we'll focus our energy on those who really want to work with us.
Nice. Love it. Yeah, great approach. Okay, let me share my strategy that I used in Google Ads in 2011. I didn't ask anybody else to help me with Google Ads. I set up all campaigns myself, and all campaigns worked well. We got sales because I paid 5-10 cents per click. Today I can't pay 5-10 cents because I need to pay $5-10, even more. So and today the strategy doesn't work. And you mentioned about strategy. I found the same issue with many clients. They're trying to replicate their competitors. For example, if competitors get sales and do some pay-per-click campaigns, it doesn't mean that you can get the same results because competitors might use their strong side. You need to consider your strong side, your preferences, and even more to think about your competitors' weaknesses and jump on this field. Can you tell how to find a buying persona and create paid marketing campaigns that will work in this extremely competitive field?
Sure. I think I want to touch on one point. I think the other issue with like looking at your clients' competitors or brands' competitors is just because that brand is spending money on advertising doesn't actually mean that it's working. We've all audited ad accounts where they're spending tons of money and they're just blowing cash, like they're unprofitable. And so the challenge of copying your competitors is you could just be following them down a road that isn't actually going to make you any money. So you rarely ever want to copy your competitors unless you've got access to their books and it's profitable. You eventually are setting yourself up to fail. When I think it comes to like figuring out buyer personas, what we look at is two things. You can either read customer reviews. Most businesses, at least have been around for a year or two, will have customers leave reviews. So reading your reviews, reading your competitors' reviews are really interesting as well because you get to understand, who bought the product, why they bought the product. People often talk about like pain points or issues or problems they had when they're talking about a product, if it's very solutions-oriented product that's going to solve. And the other thing is interviewing clients and stuff like that. So we'll go to clients' offices and interview customers. We'll go to clients and interview them as well. One of our clients does a really big sort of pop-up art crafty show here in Toronto every year. And so in the first year when we worked with them, I was living in Montreal. So I flew from Montreal to Toronto, which is not very far. It's like an hour's flight, 2 hours flight. And I spent the day just interviewing a lot of women about why they buy pajamas. And I learned more in that afternoon about like why women buy these pajamas than I could have if I sat at home and just spent time on the internet. Because I think the other thing to think about is even though our client sells pajamas, our clients' pajamas are not like every other pajamas in the market. And so if I just read other pajama brands' reviews or talked to their customers, I wouldn't have gleaned the same insights that I did when I talked with our clients' actual customers. So it's important to, when you can, talk to your clients' customers as number one option. If you can't do that, read that customer's reviews. If you can't do that, then maybe potentially look at competitors' reviews. But remember that your competitors' customers may not be your customers. And so you want to take those reviews with a grain of salt. And then after that, you just come up with like ad copy and you just test ad copy until you find what copy resonates with the customers and brings in the type of customers your clients want that are going to be, profitable. They're not going to like bog down the customer service team with a lot of stupid questions they could just find on the website if they weren't so lazy. And then from there, you just keep on doing what's working and you scale up.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. Okay, Duane, I have the question about common mistakes. Can you list mistakes that companies still do and your insights how to find a much better way?
Yeah, I mean, the big one is most people probably spend too little money on advertising. Now I agree that if you're a small business making, $500,000, $1 million a year, that spending maybe $5,000 a month is a lot for you on advertising. But I sometimes don't think that brands and people realize that there are brands that spend $100,000, $1 million, $10 million a month on advertising. And so even though in comparison, in context, $5,000 a month is a lot for you, in reality, it could be not enough money for you to spend online to get traction. We see it all the time. Businesses, I want to get started with $100, with $1,000, with $500. And so often brands spend too little money to start out, and then they're unhappy when results don't happen. And that's because they didn't spend enough money. The other thing I think we see a lot happens is, kind of like what we do is kind of like engineers. If you don't know like what an engineer does, or you don't know what we do, you don't understand it, it can be really hard to hire. Oh, these people both have like a Google Ads certificate. Oh, these people have both been working for 5 years. Just because somebody has a Google Ads certificate doesn't mean they actually know what they do. And anyone can get the Google Ads certificate. You can go find the answers online. It's really easy to pass. Just because you can pass it doesn't mean you actually know how to run campaigns. You want to get people that have got hands-on experience, but also potentially hands-on experience within the vertical you sell. So if you do e-commerce, get someone who's got e-commerce experience. If you do lead gen, get someone who's got lead gen. If you do local, get someone who's got local experience, because lead gen and e-commerce and local are all different types of advertising. And just because I've done e-com doesn't necessarily mean I can do local advertising. I can because I've been doing this for 17 years, but someone with only a couple years of experience may not be able to make that transition, or vice versa. And then I think beyond there, I think also trying to really talk to people, make sure they actually know what they're talking about, because it's easy to sound like you know what you're talking about. It's a lot harder to actually execute and do this job. And so I think for a lot of brands, it's like, you yourself take the Google Ads certificate, read the documentation, understand a little bit about like what it is to do Google or Facebook ads or something like that, so that you can ask better questions of the people that you're going to hire. Because just because someone's been working for 5 years doesn't mean they actually have 5 years of experience. They could have 1 year of experience 5 times, i.e. they're just done the same thing each year for the last 5 years working because they haven't progressed in their careers. And so you want to make sure that you don't hire someone who just says they have lots of experience. You want to understand the knowledge within that experience and things they've done in those 5 years to make sure they can actually work on your account. And then the big thing I say on Reddit and online in general, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If people are making you guarantees, it's too good to be true. Trust your gut and hire someone else. Also, if the fees seem too low, it probably is too low. Much like lawyers, doctor, dentists, mechanics, there's just a cost to do this job. And someone who's charging you too little is probably just trying to convince you to sign with a cheap price, and then they're just not going to work on your account, which is not what you want. Because even though you're going to tell yourself, oh, well, I don't pay them very much every month, so it's okay. But if you're spending money on ads and they're not converted, and you're paying a cheap fee to an agency or person, and they're not doing the job to get the ads to convert, you're not just wasting money on the person, you're wasting money on the advertising that you spent on Google or Facebook. And so when you add those two things together, you're burning tons of money every month versus if you spent a little bit more money and got someone who's competent and who knows what they're doing. So at the end of the day, trust your gut, but don't spend too little money because you'll be unhappy when results don't come.
Nice. Yeah, awesome tips. You share a lot of value today. I love it. And you remind me the quote that the era of lazy marketers is dead. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have. It's more important how you update your skills, how you go ahead. Because I often meet marketers with obsolete knowledge. Today you can't use the same knowledge for a long time. You need to update in a way to find something new because of this because of competition. It's extremely competitive at any field, especially about paid marketing. It works well if you learn, as you mentioned, your buying persona, why people are buying pajamas or any other items. So yeah, and I like your approach to go to talk with customers, to learn from them, so you can create much better campaigns. I have the question. Let's imagine you started from scratch without any experience, knowledge, skills. What will you do today to learn more about paid marketing?
Yeah, if I start today, today is so different than 17 years ago. I often tell the team, like, 17 years ago, it was shooting fish in a barrel. You could put up a Google Ads and make money tomorrow. It was not that difficult. We also had a lot less options. If I'm going to start from today, I think I'd do what I talked about earlier. I try to get a job at an advertising agency. I try to pitch some local nonprofits and see if they need some help with marketing, even if it's only like, I do some stuff for nonprofits 1 day a week. I spend my mornings with one nonprofit, I spend my afternoons with another. That's one way to get experience. I mean, I still would read the Google documentation on getting the Google Ads certificate, even though I don't think the certificate itself has value. I think going through the process of doing that has value because you get to learn the terminology when it comes to Google and what different things mean, which is really valuable. And then from there, yeah, try to get a job with an agency. I mean, not all agencies are great. Some agencies are a sweatshop in a warehouse, and it's not a great place to work. But even a year's experience at an agency is valuable than trying to do it on your own. Because I think what people don't realize, and kind of like what I talked about earlier, outside of just doing your job, there's lots of functions outside of doing your job that the agency does, like, payroll and HR and taxes. And so understanding like how to run a business is a valuable skill when you work an agency job, and being able to take those skills of how to run a business and apply it to yourself if you're going to work for yourself, or you're going to team up with your best friend and start a company. Even if what you start isn't an advertising agency, let's say you start an e-commerce store or something else, that experience you get from the agency of like how to run a business, if they share those details with you, and how to like do your job, you can apply anywhere. I mean, there's so many businesses out there that need people who know how to run a business, that having that knowledge is really valuable. We do see that question a lot on Reddit. People ask, well, how do I break into the industry? How do I get experience? And the two things really is find a nonprofit that needs help and get a job at an agency. I mean, it's more competitive today to get a job just because, there's a lot of people who want help, and sometimes those people are almost maybe too picky in what they want. They want someone who's like me, but also they want to pay like $30 an hour. Well, I'm like $150 an hour on like a bad day, $500 an hour if it's ad hoc. And so if you want someone really great, you've got to have your salary match them all the way up here and not down here. But if people want to hire someone down here, you could probably get that job, but you need to get yourself some experience.
Yeah. I have the question about, for example, for a new project. It depends on experience. I found that many experts reply in different ways. If I ask 100 people, I get 100 different replies. But anyway, tell, what do you think? For a new project, it's better to start with organic reach or paid marketing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if a client was going to come to us and they wanted our help, ideally we'd want them to see some organic results already, right? Prove that there's some traction, prove that they put some time to like sell the product. Someone actually asked that question the other day on the Shopify forums about starting out marketing. I was like, well, why don't you do like, PR or, SEO, or even go to farmers markets? If you sell a type of product that you could sell at a farmers market or something like that, do those things to prove that people actually want to buy your product and get that traction. And then you could take that money and invest in paid ads. Because again, like I said earlier, oftentimes businesses will spend too little money on advertising and then be unhappy that it didn't work. I mean, kind of the issue could be you hired a really shitty person, don't get me wrong. But if you hire a shitty person and you don't spend enough money, well, you shot yourself in the foot twice. And so going to farmers markets, doing SEO, doing PR, reaching out to influencers, proving that people actually want to buy this product and build it up that way, and then go do paid ads. You can do paid ads to start, but it's going to be a harder uphill battle to start from scratch with a business and only do paid ads versus if you have a business that's already got organic and other channels proven that you can sell the product.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. Duane, I have the final question.
Sure.
Let's imagine. Okay, another question.
Sure.
Because I have many different questions, but I want to ask the most important. What do you think about the future of paid marketing? What kind of future will be? Because many things are coming: metaverse, augmented reality. Today, anyone is discussing about Chat GPT. So, your insights about the future and how to start today to get or adapt your preferences to this future.
Yeah, I mean, no one can predict the future. I mean, everybody wants to be, the next person who predicts what's going to happen in the future and have some hot take. No one can do it. It's mostly bullshit, to be honest. What I think, though, people should do today, if you want to do marketing, Google Analytics 4 comes out July 1st, where everyone has to use Google Analytics 4. So I would say everyone who's watching this, or anyone in the next 6 months, next year who's watching this, understand how to use Google Analytics 4, because there are all going to be businesses who need to use it and don't know how to use it. So having that advantage of how to use it you can implement it, you can set it up, would be really valuable. You can go buy a domain name these days for a couple bucks on just any number of sites. You can set up some free hosting somewhere, and that will let you learn how to install and set up Google Analytics 4. And you can have like a blog where you like type how your experience is going trying to get into the industry. That's really a way to show that you've taken some initiative, because that's the other thing about getting a job somewhere is you got to show that you can take some initiative, but your initiative has to be different than everyone else in the market, because everybody is going to pass their Google Ads exam or their Facebook exam. So you need something else beyond passing those exams to prove that you should get the job versus someone else. When it comes to things like the metaverse, the metaverse reminds me of things like Second Life that came out in like 06 or 07. I don't know if people want to live their life in the metaverse or in Second Life, but that remains to be seen. When it comes to things like Chat GDP or whatever it's called, like, I understand what it does. I get it. I don't think it's actually going to replace marketing, because what I think is going to happen is kind of like when we had like AI copyright and other things in the past. What it's actually going to do is just have people be lazy. Someone put a tweet the other day and they're like, you can use this to like research these topics and stuff. And like, you wouldn't use it for everything here, but I'm going to show you what to do. And then as you go through each tweet, even though they explain how to use it for other sections and then don't use it, they also tell you how to use it for each section. So it's like they've contradicted themselves. It's like, here using step 1, here's how you use it in step 2, here's how you use it in step 3. And so I think a lot of people just use ChatGPT to become a lazy marketer, for lack of a better word. They'll use it to figure out like, what are people's pain points? What copy should I use? But this tool is just going to pull what other people are already going to do. And if it's going to pull what other people are going to do and you're just going to copy that, you're not going to stand out at marketing, because the goal of marketing and advertising at the end of the day is to make your brand stand out. If you do what everyone else does, you're not going to stand out in the market, right? You want your marketing to both attract the people who would make the ideal customer and repel the people you don't want as a customer. But if your advertising, especially your ad copy on your ads, on your landing pages, on your website, is exactly the same as all your competitors, then there's no reason I should buy from you versus your competition, especially if your competition is cheaper. And even if you are cheaper than your competition, if you can't back up your product with a great service or great product, well, then people are just going to churn and you're going to lose money based on them not being there to give you their money. And so I have no idea what the future is, but I think people should focus on things like Google Analytics 4. I think people should focus on like, how to interview clients, how to break into the industry based on things I talked about, and the rest will take care of itself. I don't really worry about the future. I worry about the next couple of years. So like Google Analytics 4 is really important. Enhanced conversions for Google Ads is really important. Things like CAPI for Facebook are really important. Focus on like the next couple of years and I'll let the future take care of itself.
Yeah, nice tips, Duane. I love all your insights, so valuable. By the way, guys, if you open Duane LinkedIn profile, you can find that he has a course, linda.com. He's an offer on this course, so you can learn more about paid marketing, because I can divide my audience to two parts: someone who is learning about digital marketing, and someone who wants to get traffic, sales to their projects. So someone who want to learn more, you can open this course to learn about paid marketing. I love it. I'm going to check it out and leave my review, because I know how it's important today to get new valuable skills. Duane, it's a big pleasure to get on the show, to learn from you. Tell our audience the best way how to reach out to you, how to learn more about you, follow you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll also just say the LinkedIn course is also free, so it doesn't cost you anything. It's really the basics of PPC and how to get started, so it's a great thing to take. So the easiest way to find me really is I spend a lot of time on Twitter, so it's just Duane Brown, my full name on Twitter. I also spend a lot of time on the PPC subthread on Reddit, so it's just Fathom53 on Reddit. Those are probably where I spend the most time. I've also spent a lot more time the last 4 months on LinkedIn, so I'll probably spend more time this year on LinkedIn. So it's either, follow me on LinkedIn, you could follow me on Reddit, you can follow me on Twitter. And that's kind of generally where I put out my content and spend my time. And when I'm not on those 3 places, I'm obviously working on client accounts. I'm speaking at conferences. I'm going to be at MozCon in August. So if you're at MozCon, say hi. I'm going to be at Brighton SEO in April 2023, obviously. So if you're at Brighton SEO or you think about going, say hi. I've got 2 different talks, one in Google Performance Max. I've got one in automation. And then beyond that, I'm really just head down and trying to help clients scale their businesses and survive 2023.
Nice. Guys, you need to follow Duane on LinkedIn, on Twitter, because you can see a lot of valuable insights. Someone who is going to MozCon or Brighton SEO, I think, they are the most famous conferences in digital marketing. So
Yep.
I'm excited. If I have time to go there, I'll be. But I have many different things, so I need to check out my schedule. But I recommend 100%. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, to listening us. Thanks again, Duane. A big pleasure. Welcome back anytime to share more valuable insights. I love it. Guys, you can find all these links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and see you next time.